Hello, everybody, and welcome to this part of the Be Active Wales campaign run by Sport Wales. Today we'll be speaking about mental health. My name's Lloyd Ashley, professional rugby player for the Ospreys, and also a mental health ambassador for afael. I've also got my own company called Living Well with Lloyd Ashley. First of all, today we are joined by double Paralympic champion, world and European champion, Lloyd Davies. Hi, Al. How you doing, mate?
Hi, mate. How are you? I'm good.
Yeah, how are you keeping busy?
Just take it every day as it comes, mirroring my schedules as much as possible, and trying to just chip away.
Also joining us today, we have double international netball and football player, Nia Jones. Nia, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Can't complain. Thank you for joining us this morning.
No worries. It gave me an excuse to get out of bed this morning, so thank you.
Last but not least, we have Tesni Evans joining us, who's a professional squash player and currently 9th ranked in the world. How are you managing without squash?
Oh, I'm missing it madly. I haven't gone this long without playing squash since I was about 5 or 6 years old, so it's pretty tough, but same as the other guys, really, just trying to chip away at some training and keep busy, really.
So being a professional of the Ospreys, very lucky normally to have teammates around me all the time, but obviously the season's changed a little bit and the landscape of everything going on has changed a little bit. So today we're discussing a bit about mental health and how we're all keeping going through this, and hopefully trying to understand where we are in 2020 and what's the plans for the rest of the year. So I'm very fortunate to be an ambassador for afael. It's a mental health charity, and I think it's very important that we all speak about this now because lots of us don't know what's going on and lots of us are trying to keep ourselves busy. So, Alid, how are you keeping yourself busy at the moment, mate?
I'm trying to mirror my schedule if I can, and by that I mean everything that I was doing before the lockdown, I'm trying to do in lockdown. It has been a big challenge training from home. I'm such a home bird anyway. I love coming home. So it's a strange one because I was supposed to be away training a lot, away on camps, warm weather training, and of course preparing for the big one this summer that was originally Tokyo. Now moved back to next year. But it is tough. I mean, this competition comes once every 4 years. You don't get a second opportunity at it, and some people, haven't got that kind of health to go another 4 years. So I know a lot of people that were seeing this as a finish line. So I think right now it's about being smart. I'm not chasing world records in my back garden. I'm just trying to take over and hopefully don't get too much rust on the old joints.
I was going to ask, what does the new training arena look like?
Well, I've managed to create a platform out of stable, as in horse stable matting. So I've obviously got the big impact rubber matting, so I can drop my lifts, and I have my own throwing circle with a 16-foot throw-in cage between two apple trees. So I'm lucky that I'm able to do some sort of throwing in my garden. Specifically just the technical stuff. So. I mean, like I said, it's a strange one because this is the time of year where you've just come off a massive winter of solid work, and you want to see that transition into the throw and see how far you can launch it. But at the moment, I feel like I've grafted all winter, and now I've had like a week off, and I'm going back into another winter block to hopefully come out and do a couple of competitions end of the summer. Fingers crossed we come out of this lockdown by then.
Nia, how are you keeping yourself busy through this, and what's life like?
I'm building significantly less things in my garden than Aled is. He's putting everybody's DIY skills to shame there, I think. So similar to us, we were in pre-season with my netball Super League team, Seven Stars. I moved there this season from 5 years at the Celtic Dragons in Cardiff. So I was really excited. We've been training since October. Our season only started in February, so we'd actually only played 4 matches, and then obviously we went into lockdown. So it just feels like such a shame, like the other guys will think too, and yourself, you build, such a base of fitness, and then you start really fine tuning, the more technical elements, and you start to build connections tactically with your teammates, and it's just sort of frozen. And the worst thing for us, we still like Alex said, we're trying to mirror our normal week. So usually for me, I live in Cardiff and I'm still working in Cardiff, but I'm usually in Worcester or Gloucester 3 to 4 times a week. So we're still trying to replicate that with Zoom. So I'm totally zoomed out, but we still have Zoom sessions together 3 or 4 times a week. And we've got our crazy Kiwi coach shouting all different directions. And I look like an absolute lunatic in the park when I go to do those. When she shouts turn, pivot, chest pass, and I chest pass to a tree. So I look like a lunatic. So if you see me around Cardiff, I don't need to be approached. That's fine. I'm just following instruction on Zoom. But yeah, we're just, the worst thing is you don't know when you're going to be back. So usually with a normal preseason, when you need to be sort of peaking. But we're just trying to do, as we can.
Right. So next up, we're going to speak to Tesni. Tesni, how are you doing, and how are you keeping yourself busy, and what's training look like now for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the squash court's closing. It's been pretty tough. I actually got injured at the start of January in my first competition of the year. And I was just ready to play my first competition the week before lockdown. So it was pretty tough for me. And I haven't played squash in a long, long time now. So I'm really missing it. But same as the other guys, really, I'm still trying to do the same things I normally do. I normally do 2 sessions a day. So I'm trying to keep that up. And as Nia said, I think the big thing that's really helped me is trying to stick to that routine and that plan rather than, you could do it at midnight if you wanted to. It doesn't make a difference, obviously, but for mentally, it's really helped me to have quite a good plan and routine. So just, plenty of things, actually been quite productive over the last few weeks of making new sessions up and stuff. So it's been quite good. Obviously tough not being around all the other squash players, but I'm probably lucky in the sense that I do play an individual sport, not a team sport like you and Nia, really. So I'm kind of used to doing a lot of training by myself anyway.
Oh, that's good, then. It's important to keep a routine. How is the injury now? Is there any problems? I bet it's been good to have a bit of extra time for that as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think the only thing that's come out of it for me is a bit of a silver lining of it all is I've had extra time to rehab my ankle. It was a pretty rough one. And obviously, as I said, doing it at the start of the season, it couldn't have been any worse, really. After all my training I put in over the it was pretty rough. So, yeah, it's given me a good time to get it ready. And I know that when the season starts again, wherever that may be, that it will be 100% ready. So that's probably a good thing that has come out of it.
That's brilliant. That's good to hear as well. And we got to make the most out of these situations. And that's one way for you and career moving forward, of one way of making the most out of this as well. So guys, with everything going on, it's so important that we stay active, and obviously Sport Wales are running the Be Active campaign for everybody to stay active through this. But it's important not only for our physical health, but for our mental health and keeping ourselves going. So I'd like to speak to Nia first about how you're keeping yourself going, how it's helped benefiting you mentally as well as physically, and how you're making the most of the time at the moment.
Yeah, so for us as sports people, it's easy for us to sit here and preach about the benefits of sport, but actually just getting outside for fresh air, when it's enforced by the government that you have to stay indoors, you actually took for granted the freedom that you had before. And, I've got friends, non-sporty friends, telling me how much they're now enjoying looking at different workouts online, or just getting outside for a bike ride, or just enjoying fresh air and sunshine. Like, the best way that we could help the NHS long term is actually to be more active as a nation. And that doesn't mean be a competitive sports person. That just means getting half an hour of daily exercise, even if that's just a dog walk. I know it definitely benefits my mood. That's why I like to do it earlier on in the morning. I find that I'm in a much better mood generally, and much nicer to people around me if I've done my training early on. Something else I found really beneficial is like Tesni said, writing down some creative sessions for myself, keeping it varied as well. So if I feel like I'm feeling a little bit low or a little bit down, I always make sure I write stuff that I enjoy. So I won't write myself a horrendous session that I know actually that's a really tough one, I hate doing that. I'll write in some fun stuff, whether that's bear crawling or I don't know, a workout to a cheesy Westlife song or something. But and then logging it, I think writing down what you've done, if I scroll through my notes now, it's amazing actually how much training and how much activity you do day to day without actually realizing it. And I'm fortunate. I still get to go into work 2 days a week. So I'm a sports coach at Llandaff Cathedral School, and we've got a lot of children of key workers that are still coming in to complete their schoolwork at obviously a social distance. So it's cool actually to be able to just go in and still interact with the kids and my colleagues, and hand sanitize every 10 minutes. But no, it's Zoom sessions have been great. I think everybody's all zoomed out, but making the most of FaceTime and just seeing people's faces rather than a phone call, and training together is something that's really helped me. So I still can't wait for it to be over. Don't get me wrong, it still doesn't compare to training together, but I think everybody's making the most of this difficult time.
Yeah. What about you, Al? How are you?
I struggled at first because I was going on social media and everyone was doing a live workout, and I was like, am I even training hard enough anymore? Do you know what I mean? Everyone seemed to be smashing it. But I think people got excited at first, didn't they? They were like, right, okay, yeah, let's jump on board, let's all get involved, and everyone was doing their home workouts. But then, when it comes down to the reality of it, for a lot of us, it's our job, and we want to be coming out of this with a loaded gun to a certain extent, so you're ready to go again. But it's very hard, and I think my biggest fear watching loads of people smashing it at home is that they're going to push themselves too hard and get hurt. So I just hope everyone is doing everything in moderation, and I think it is more importantly to have that source of activity as a break, to break up your day. And if you can walk around the garden or go for your allocated walk, I find that seems to have been playing wonders, and I've never seen so many people out walking. But yeah, for myself, I think it was inevitable that Tokyo was going to get postponed. We were just waiting for it. I kind of gathered that when they did cancel the World Indoors in China, that things weren't looking too great. So yeah, I think for me it was like, okay, obviously I was going for my third gold this summer. It's just gonna have to wait another year, but I was, it's like you said, you get to Tesni, you've been training and you start competing and you're getting into it. And for me, I was a month away from competing, so I was almost there. So now I've got to wait, and I am seeing it as a blessing in disguise, because now there's going to be no stone left unturned. You can do all those 1%ers this winter. At the same time, there's going to be, I know my rivals are going to be training harder than ever. So I'm just glad that with everything that's gone on, people are thinking of the bigger picture. Like, we're in a pandemic at the end of the day. So I think people's health is the most important thing here. And following the guidelines and coming out of it together so we can all resume some sort of normality, I suppose.
And what about you, Tesni? How are you coping? How are you looking after yourself mentally and physically through this?
Yeah, same as the other guys, really. Obviously, it's not easy, and I think for me, actually, I'm so used to being indoors with playing squash, being obviously an indoor sport, and probably, I don't know the percentage, but probably 60-70% of my training is indoors, obviously with being inside or going to a gym. And I've actually really enjoyed getting outside and doing stuff. As Nia said, the weather's been amazing, so it's a good time to get out and do some outdoor running and the walking especially. I hate walking, hate it, and I've actually come to actually really love it now. So yeah, I think it's a good time for us all to learn new stuff. I've taken up doing extra stretching because there's more time now. I don't feel like I'm rushing around as much. So definitely, as Aled said, finding those little percentages and actually working on them now, the things that in the past I've said I haven't had time for, and doing all that kind of stuff now. So I think it's a good time for us all to do those kind of things.